not a curfew.
Oh, mercy!
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome into MASN All Access from the MASN Newsroom on this Tuesday afternoon. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm your host, Paul Mancano. It's been about a week since the O's announced their roster for the Fall Instructional League. Group of 55 has been practicing down at the Ed Smith Stadium complex in Sarasota, Florida, and the roster boasts top prospects such as Adley Rutschman, Grayson Rodriguez, and D.L. Hall, plus several of the O's recent international signings. GM Mike Elias spoke recently with reporters about what this Fall Instructional League camp will look like.
I think some aspects will be similar. I mean, the coaching techniques and particular curricula that we're using in some areas will carry forward from Bowie, but this is going to be a little bit larger number. We're going to have more fields at our disposal because it's Ed Smith. I think it will have more of a normal instructional league type of structure and feel, but with the enhanced health and safety protocols that we all saw at Bowie and Camden Yards, and hopeful that we're going to be able to continue in this setting as well. So I think it's going to be a mix of everything. It's going to be some staff that didn't get to participate in Bowie. We'll be working this camp, and then as you can see from the rosters, a lot of players that weren't in Bowie, some that were, but a lot that weren't. And then there were guys that like Kyle Bradish and Kevin Smith that we decided they've pitched so much at the alternate sites and gotten enough work in this summer that we're going to go ahead and shut them down and didn't bring them in. So just kind of a mixture across the board of why certain guys are there and what they're going to be doing.
One guy who could certainly benefit from this Fall Instructional League camp is prospect Terrin Vavra. Remember, he came over in the Michael Givens trade from the Rockies organization right before the August 31st trade deadline. I caught up with Terrin to discuss this Fall Instructional League camp just a couple days ago. Now we're joined on MASN All Access by Terrin Vavra, who joins us from Sarasota, Florida, down at the Fall Instructional League camp for the Baltimore Orioles. Terrin, thanks so much for hopping on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So Terrin, we got to start with your family. Your dad is the hitting coach for the Detroit Tigers. He was drafted and had a minor league career. And then you have two older brothers, both of whom were drafted as well. Was there ever any doubt you were going to become a professional baseball player?
I mean, well, when you grow up around the game, you kind of gravitate towards it. So been very fortunate to have my dad and my brothers to kind of lead the way and, set a good foundation for me, and it worked out. So
nice. And then you played collegiate ball at Minnesota. You made it to the Super Regional your last year there, one of the most successful years of this century for the Minnesota baseball program. What was that experience like, and was that valuable experience for you as you entered professional baseball?
Yeah, that was a really special experience. Being able to be, a part of that group, and we have some very good coaches there, very good coaching staff that had yet to be there, and so to be able to kind of get them to that next step, it meant a lot to us players and to them. So very, fortunate to be a part of it. Definitely will have those memories to look back on for a lot of years to come.
And then you enter professional baseball and you spend some time in the Colorado Rockies organization. I mentioned your dad, Joe, who is a hitting coach. So as the son of a hitting coach, how would you describe your hitting style? You can probably use better terms than most.
I think I just try to be consistent every time I go up there. Baseball can get you to, your emotions to vary. And the more you can be consistent, I think the more it helps you. So I've been, grateful and fortunate to be around the game, be around some very high level players and be able to learn from them as well as my dad and my brothers. But just trying to, show that same consistency that some of the better players brought each and every day is what I try to do.
And you're just 6'1", you're a little bit on the smaller side, not for an infielder, of course, but you do have some pop as well. Where do you develop your power, and how do you generate that power as a smaller guy?
I think that, I can still get better in that area. But really what you try to do is just try to keep your lower body involved. Your legs are, the foundation of your swing. And if you can get, you know, some good use of your lower half, that helps translate into the ball. So still trying to get better with that aspect of my game. But yeah, that's definitely helped me so far.
Would you describe yourself as a pull hitter, a slap hitter, a gap-to-gap hitter? How would you describe your own style at the plate?
I think I live up the middle. The middle is kind of, where I'm trying to hit the ball every time, line drive up the middle. That way you can, react to pitches inside, outside, wherever they are, and try to do damage wherever the ball's pitched. So that's what I try to do, and I think it's helped me so far.
Then you had 18 stolen bases with the Asheville Taurus back in 2019. Was that a byproduct of the kind of running style that you had developed as a team, or was that something personally, a choice that you made that you were going to try to take as many bases as possible? Because that was a very high number, especially considering your overall career numbers.
Yeah, I think, that's another aspect of my game that I wanted to get better at. I think I'm, a pretty good athlete and have some, quickness, and I'm trying to just, take advantage of that and, ultimately give my team the best chance to win. And if you can steal some bases, that helps.
And you split time between shortstop and second base defensively. Which position do you feel more comfortable at, and which position would you like to play the most going forward if you had your preference?
Well, anything, anywhere I can play that, helps the team win is where I want to be. I've played shortstop majority of my life, so I feel pretty comfortable there. But second base, I got to play a lot of it last year, and it's becoming kind of like a second home. Since I've been traded, though, I know I've been working in the outfield a little bit, center field, and that's been something I'm pretty excited about because it just gives me another way to get in the lineup and help the team win.
Had you ever had any experience playing in the outfield or center field in particular at Minnesota or even before that?
No, never had any experience playing outfield, so it's a new experience for me, but something that I think I can attack and succeed with.
And how did the Orioles approach you with that idea to start trying you out in center field? Was that something that they reached out to you after the trade about, or something that you've just started now that you've been down in Sarasota for the fall instructional league?
It's something that after the trade they kind of talked to me about. I think they saw me move around out on the field, and they saw that it might be a good opportunity for me to be able to contribute and get in the lineup and help the team win.
Gotcha. So in terms of your work ethic, I just talked to Doug Maurer, who is the broadcaster for the Asheville Taurus, the team that you just played with most recently back in 2019, and he praised your work ethic. Is that a part of your game that you pride yourself on?
Absolutely. I think, you talk about my family. That's been huge in instilling a strong work ethic within me. So I've just tried to learn from my my family, but also the people around me. And I was fortunate last year to have some good teammates in Asheville that pushed me to become better each day. And ultimately, that's what you want to do. And so having a good work ethic is just the start, and that's something that I try to not only pass along to myself, but to the guys that are in the locker room with me.
How did you spend this summer in particular without organized baseball to go to? Did you have workouts with your family in the backyard? Were you able to go to any batting cages around town? Where did you spend your time, and how did you spend your summer without baseball?
Well, we're very, in a very good situation. Me and my brothers actually started a business. You'll see my hat here, Triple Threat Training, just outside my hometown, and it's a hitting facility where we got cages, and it's all turfed up, and we got machines, and it was kind of my saving grace throughout this crazy time because I was able to go in and get my work in and still get better in a time where a lot of people were out of a spot to do that. So very fortunate, very grateful to have that, and I think that's helped me be ready for this opportunity down here in Instructs. But then also when I went out to the alternate site to be a part of that, it helped me stay ready for that too.
How did that idea come about, and when did you guys develop that idea?
Well, the community that we're in, we think that there's a lot of talented baseball players that could come out of there. There's a lot of talented athletes for sure. And we just want to try to grow the game of baseball within that community. And, we're from, Wisconsin, and it's not a top baseball destination by any means, but we're just trying to, make sure kids have the resources available to become better baseball players and in turn grow the baseball community there.
That's awesome. So now that you're down in Sarasota, you're with the Orioles for the first time in really any capacity. How have the first couple days of the fall instructional camp gone? Have you gotten a chance to acquaint yourself to your teammates and the organization and get to know the Sarasota area?
Yeah, it's been good. I mean, we haven't got to know the Sarasota area too much just because we're pretty confined to the hotel and the field. So I haven't got to explore hardly at all. So on that end, not so much, but the baseball side of things have been great. Teammates have been good. They've been, it's a lot of new guys here, so we're all getting to know each other, and very good group of guys so far, and I'm just fortunate to be here.
Awesome. Well, Orioles fans are fortunate to have you in the organization, and they were very excited to, of course, see your name on that list for the Fall Instructional League roster. So we hope you enjoy your time down there, and can't wait to see you maybe back in Sarasota in spring training in just a few short months.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much. Well, you heard me mention a conversation I had with Doug Maurer of the Asheville Tourists. That was on the MASN All Access podcast. Listen to that entire conversation in which Doug discusses prospect Terrin Vavra. You can listen to the podcast on Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Watch it on the MASN All Access Facebook page. Watch it on the MASN Orioles YouTube channel. Basically, anywhere you get your podcasts, you can get the MASN All Access podcast. That just about does it for our show today. Thanks, of course, as always, to Amy Jennings and Hannah Broder behind the scenes. I'm Paul Mancano. Thank you so much for tuning in.